Hey besties, it's Becky here with Bestie Becky's Crafts, and today I'm going to show you how I made my metal rose. And it looks complicated, but it's really not, and actually it's kind of a lot of fun, and you can get different effects with what color inks you choose to use. The supplies you need are, I used Crafter's Companion Craft Metal. You can emboss with it, you can cut it with scissors, you can use a punch with it. It's thicker than aluminum foil, so it's a little bit sturdier. So this is what I used, and I found it online at Simon Says Stamps, I think. And you get like it says 20 sheets in here. This is going to last me quite a while. So you'll need that. You'll also need some stamps, and I just picked a couple different size of flower stamps I had. These happen to be from Stampin' Up. One is the Pansy Bunch and one is Petite Petals, but you can use any punches that you like, just as long as they're not too deep like this one, because it'll get stuck in your metal. So something like that will work a heck of a lot better than this. This you'll get stuck and you'll get really frustrated, and trust me, it's no fun trying to dig the metal out. And you'll also need excuse me, a leaf punch. So I use that one right there. And I also use Distress inks to color my flowers. Get to that. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, I apologize for my messy mouse pad here. I need to get a new one, but I've had this one forever. My kids have doodled on it. I just can't seem to get rid of it. So I will show you how to punch. So you go ahead and just take your punch and punch the metal. And like I said, it's pretty easy to punch, just like that. And gives you your piece. Now I could just, leave it like that and use that, but I wanted to make a rose. So in order to make a rose, there's kind of a few things that you need to do first. The outside petals, as you can see, are kind of wavy, which a rose petal is not pointed, it's wavy. So I wanted to get rid of that point. So in order to do that, I have these scissors. I guess they're called ripple edge. I had them forever. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut that point off. Doesn't have to be perfect, but see how easy it cuts with the scissors, just so it gives it a kind of a wavy edge there. Alright, now to make the rose, you're going to need 3 of the small ones, and you're going to do the same thing. Cut around each of the outside petals, and you're going to need 3 big ones, and then I cut out 3 leaves. Okay? So let's go ahead and do our leaf first. Doesn't really matter which side you have as being the upside or the downside, because you're going to color both sides. At least I did. But I went ahead and took an embossing tool, and it can be any size. I just happened to pick this size, and I wanted to draw veins on my leaves, so I drew up the center and then came out on the side like so. You see that? And did the same on this side. Maybe just zoom in a little bit. There you go. Can you see that? Alright, when I flip it over, you can see the veins, and after they are colored, that is what it will look like. So my leaves are ready. And now let's work on our flowers. Zoom out a little bit here. Okay, so to get our flowers ready, I have my embossing tool again, but I have a small pointy side, and I want to just put a hole in the center, and I'm going to do that for all 3 of my little ones and all 3 of my bigger ones. The reason for that is because I'm going to use a punch. I think this is, yeah, what is it, 1/16 of an inch punch to make the hole bigger in the center, because I'm going to use a brad. You see that? It's so tiny. A brad to hold all my petal pieces together. So I want the hole a little bit bigger so that the brad can fit through there easily. So I'm just gonna, oops, by putting a hole already in the center, it gives me a good guideline as to where to punch, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to find the center. And there you go, just like that. If it's not completely in the center, it's not, you know, perfect, it's okay. Flowers, oops, my little bottom piece here came up. Flowers in nature are perfect. And since it's metal and we can bend it, we can shape it to however we would like. Okay? So now I want more, I don't know if that's right English, but I want to have more individual petals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a pair of scissors, okay, and I'm just going to cut in between the petals, close to the hole, but not quite to the hole. And this will help in our shaping of our roses. Okay, so just like that. And I'm going to do the same to the big one too. And cut in between, almost to the hole, but not quite. Alright, just like that. Now we're ready to color. This is the fun part. Okay, so what I have here is just a solid surface. This happens to be a piece of glass that I use for clay and different things. And I just put a piece of white paper underneath so that you could see. I covered it in saran wrap or plastic wrap, whatever you want to call it, just to protect the surface, because we're going to be using distressed ink, not distressed inks, alcohol inks. And if you've never used alcohol inks before, they are so fun, so fun. So to do the alcohol inks, let's do the leaf first. I chose 2 colors. I chose a citrus and a meadow prairie. Alright, and it's liquid form, and they're called alcohol inks because they have alcohol in them, and as soon as the alcohol evaporates, it's dry. So I keep my separate little foam pads. You get a package of foam pads, and I mark, here, let me put this on here. You have your stamper thing with the Velcro on it that holds the little pad that holds your ink. I don't know what these things are called, But I keep all of these pads that I use and just reuse them, and I write down what colors I've used on them, so if I want to use them again, I know that I've used Meadow Prairie and Citrus ink on this little pad, and then I keep them with my Distress inks. Alright, so what you're going to do is, I want more of a darker green than the citrus, so I'm going to put more of the Meadow Prairie on, and since I just have one leaf I'm doing now, I really don't need much at all. Alright, and just put some drops on. Make sure you put that lid on tight, because you don't want it to evaporate, that alcohol ink to evaporate. And then I'm going to put just a few drops of citrus, because I don't want a whole lot. I just want a little bit of difference there. Now it may pick it up when you do it, and that's okay. And you're just going to stamp over it and color it. Just like so. Isn't that cool? Now, once the alcohol evaporates, it'll be dry, and it'll be like this. And I did both sides. So once that side dried, I flipped it over and did the other side. Okay? So, that was Citrus and Meadow Prairie. And I'm just going to peel off that pad from my stamper. Put it back in the bag for the next time. And now let's do the flowers. For the flowers, at first I used 3 colors, and then I just went to 2 colors. I used Wild Plum and Currant. I think it's Currant. Yes. Alright. Shake them up. And I'm going to get my little foam pad out here. And yes, it will stain your fingers. So you want to be a little careful with that. Now I wanted more of the darker color, so I added more drops of the Currant, and you just put them on random. Okay, and then I just wanted a few drops of the Wild Plum. And then I did the same thing I did with the leaf. And like I said, it may stick to it, but that's okay. It'll eventually will come off. See? And then do put the bigger one. Now this is fun to do on a big piece of metal. You can get all kinds of different effects with different colors. It's fun to play with. We actually made Christmas ornaments a few years ago using alcohol inks in class. Christmas. Tree balls and air. It was fun. It was fun. Okay, so once those are dry, and it doesn't take very long, then I flip them over and go ahead and do the other side, and they'll look something like this when they're done. Alright, and it's dry. Okay, so let me take this off and put it back in its little baggie here, like so. Seal it tight so it doesn't dry out. And I can put all my little goodies away. And this is all, well, it's all Tim Holtz. So you can find it at Michael's. So I'm going to set this aside to dry. Like I said, it doesn't take very long to dry. But I already have some done. And I've started to put together. And I just have a butter dish lid. And I've already started to put some on my brad here because I didn't think you wanted to watch me try and thread these all on. So I have one left. And you're going to try and alternate the petals when you put them on the brad. But it's not really all that necessary because you can still rotate the petals. So now I'm trying to get my brad connected there. Alright, so there it is. Brad's connected. And there's my flower. Alright, so now comes the fun part. Alright, I'm using my jewelry pliers. They're, I don't know what they're called. You know, I should look these up before I start doing this. But they're the round ones. So it's a way to get double use out of your jewelry supplies. So I'm going to pick one petal up and I'm going to bend it all the way up. Okay? You can see that. And I'm going to bend the top down. This is going to be the center of our flower. And then I'm going to just kind of roll. You may have to hold on to it, which is fine. Roll the outside back. And roll the other outside back. Okay? Then I'm going to pick up the one beside it. Now, I want this first one to go inside this side of the one next to it. Okay, you're going to do that all the way around. So again, bend the top, curl the one side, curl the other side, and you're just going to kind of play with it. It's metal, so it's pretty forgiving. Alright, and lift up the next petal. And you're going to curl the top down. You're going to do the same thing. Hopefully I can do this so you can see. I'm going to curl the edge slightly. And then I'm going to curl the other edge. And I want this edge to go behind that one that I just did. Does that make sense? Like I said, we're going to play with it so we'll get it to where we like it. Alright? Then we go on to the next one. Same thing. I need to zoom in here. Okay. You're going to roll the top down, right? And then bend the side a little bit. Bend the side a little bit. And the one right before it, you're going to try and put behind, oops, the one you just did. Okay? And then here's our last one. Bend it up. Bend the side. Bend the side. One before it goes behind. No, this where it gets just a little tricky because you want it to go behind that first one. Alright? You can just kind of play with it. Squish it with your fingers. Alright. Main goal is to cover that center brad. Now you're going to pick up the next row. You're basically going to bring it up and bend the top. Bring it up and bend the top back. Bring it up. See? Not easy. You don't want to bend it too far back. Just a little bit. Okay. And then you can kind of, you know, just kind of push it in there. Alright, the center of our flower. And now we've got one more row to do. And this one, not so much. Just kind of bring it up. A little bit of a bend. And see how it moves, which is fine. That way, if you need to move petals, you can. Alright, look, there's the center. Now if you want to make a small rose, you could just do that and be done. But we made a big rose. So now I'm going to bring this up, but I'm going to kind of bend it, starting further back. I'm going to bend the edges. Just kind of push it in. Bring this one up. Again, bend the edge. Push it up. Do the next one. Start kind of bending it, and then roll the edges a little. Same thing, all the way around. Like so. And one more in this row. Kind of wish I had a one that went in between these two, but it works. And now I want the next row of petals to go in between that row I just did. So you see I just turned it a little bit. And we're going to just kind of raise it up and turn it or roll it, whatever you want to call it. Push it up in there. Next one, same thing. I'm not rolling the edges, just rolling the outside. Like so. Okay. And then our bottom row, again, you want it off center from the last row that you did, so you can move it if you need to. And just roll it. A little bit. Don't need to do much. Alright, and then you just kind of play with it to where you like it. There you go. Gives you a pretty good idea of how easy it is. And you could just, you know, just leave it like this and color it and just glue a pearl or something in the center if you wanted to. But what's nice is they're easy to bend, easy to shape. And then my leaves, again, easy to shape, and they stay. So I kind of just curl them, curl the bottom, the corners, like so. You can glue them to the bottom of your rose, like so. There we go. Pretty easy. You get to use some tools that you don't use all the time. Just remember to not use a punch that's very deep, to make sure that the edges of your roses are not too pokey, and make sure you cut each petal separate. Makes it easier to bend and shape. And that's it. Isn't that fun? Just another way to use those alcohol inks. And like I said, if you have not used them, they are fun to just kind of play around with. So, there you go. And that's what it looked like on my card. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I hope you give it a try. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. You can't really do anything wrong. And remember, I use the Crafter's Companion craft metal. And I don't know, I'm sure there's other metals out there that'll work. I've never tried aluminum foil, but I think it might be too soft to use. But a soda can, it would also work. Actually, that would work very, very well. And you would just need to cut the bottom and top off, cut it down the center, and then you can punch it and then color it. Or you can just leave it whatever color it is and make your rose out of it that way too. But an aluminum can, soda can, would work real well too. And be a whole lot cheaper than buying the metal like I did. So that is one thought. So, alrighty. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you give it a try. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Hi, Mom. Hi, Arena. Keep crafting. Bye.